Hello, friends. You're watching the Cowboys Report. I am your host, Tom Downey. You can follow me on Twitter for more Cowboys coverage at WhatGoingDowney. All right, moving on now to some Cowboys rumors. First up, as promised, Lincoln Riley. I'll give this one 2 stars, even if the theory behind it is a little iffy at best. I do still think Riley makes a lot of sense for the Cowboys. I know members of the organization like him a lot. In particular, I believe that Stephen Jones likes Lincoln Riley quite a bit after Lincoln recruited his kid to walk on in Oklahoma, who of course later went on to play at Arkansas. Now, as first pointed out by Bobby Bell, I'm going to give him the credit here, that's why he's the rumor origin. Oklahoma had a 5-star 2021 quarterback recruit decommit from them, which is interesting. That's Brock Vandagriff, number 1 recruit in 2021, by the way. Decommitted, and about a week earlier had said he was going to leave if Lincoln Riley left, which, okay, there, he's going to leave, right? My problem with this as, the evidence is, how does the recruit find out before anyone else? How does it not leak, right? Somebody would have gone with that if the recruit had said, yeah, I'm leaving because Lincoln's out. So I still think Riley and the Cowboys make a ton of sense, but I don't think it's because the quarterback recruit left. I've seen many of you ask, well, what has Lincoln Riley done in Oklahoma? Win 12 games every year, make it to the CFP playoff every year, and put together some of the best offenses in college football with a different quarterback every single year. There are concerns to be had about Riley. I understand that. There is no such thing as a guaranteed successful head coach. If it was, even Belichick would have worked in Cleveland. Welcome to life in the NFL. But you're hiring him because of your offense. And the offense is going to take a big step forward. Yes, they've lost in the college football playoff. Let's not pretend those Oklahoma teams are better than the teams they're playing against. So who do you want the Cowboys to hire? Let me know in the comments section. You guys have watched the show for a while now. I'm a big fan of Lincoln Riley. I see a Dabo in there. He's not leaving Clemson, except for any job except Alabama. I think he's going to stay at the college level. By the way, I cannot wait for the first person to say, Lincoln Riley got blown out. Let's hire Dabo. Even though, Dabo did get blown out in a bowl game too. The Orange Bowl, West Virginia. They scored 70 on his team. So let me know in the comments who you want the Cowboys to hire. One name I didn't see in this particular live chat, but I've seen before, is Gary Kubiak. I'm going to give this one 1 star. I don't think it makes sense as a head coach, but assistant coach, I do. And I like the idea a lot. That's why I gave it the 1, not the 2 stars, or the fake news there. Former head coach for Texans and Broncos, OC for Ravens and Broncos as well. I'll also make note, by the way, that Gary's son Klein is currently a Cowboys scout. Keep it in the family there. I think he's a fantastic assistant. I don't think he's going to be a head coach at all. I don't think he makes sense as a head coach, but if you can get him on your offensive staff, especially for maybe a defensive-minded coach or a first-time head coach, that makes a lot of sense for the Cowboys. He had the down year at the end of his tenure in Houston, had some medical issues in Denver, but he did a great job. He won the Super Bowl, right? And yeah, you definitely give the defense a lot of the credit there as well, but Kubiak was a success. The big reason why I give it 1 star for head coach, he doesn't want to do it. This is what he said a month ago. He said, no, when asked about being a head coach again, no, it's not giving me the itch. I had my chance to be a head coach. That's not for me anymore. He's the offensive assistant and assistant head coach right now in Minnesota. We've mentioned Mike Zimmer before. And if Zimmer somehow ends up on this Cowboys staff, I wonder if he would bring Gary with him as well. So I like this idea for Kubiak as an assistant coach. Because of his age, because I want to swing for the fences on this head coaching job, because he himself said he doesn't want to be a head coach anymore. I'm only giving it the 1 star. I don't think it makes much sense there for the Cowboys to go after him as a head coach. I don't think they will either. Now, today's show is brought to you by BetDSI. Head over to chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code Cowboys120 for a 120% deposit bonus. You put down $50, they're going to give you $60 for free. That is the single best betting deal out there. Chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code Cowboys120. All right, next up is Tyrone Crawford. How about a pay cut for him? I'm going to give this 3 stars. I like this idea. I think it's a good idea. I think there's a good chance this ends up happening as well. The Cowboys clearly missed Crawford this year, and the report from Calvin Watkins is that he is open to taking a pay cut to staying with the Dallas Cowboys next year, which I think he has to do because I don't see Crawford coming back at a $9 million cap hit, especially when you can save $8 million of that, his base salary next year. That's that number, by cutting him. You miss Crawford on the field. He did so much of the dirty work. I think your run defense suffered. He is a flexible player, defensive tackle, defensive end there. I like him a lot. Yeah, the numbers were bad, and yeah, the sack tackle flaws aren't great. You're okay. He makes a lot of the dirty work plays, sets up other guys for success. The problem is, can't pay that $9 million. And you look at next year's offensive tackle depth chart here, or defensive depth chart, excuse me. Thank you, producer Dylan. Malik Collins, Antoine Woods, who's an RFA, Daniel Ross, Christian Covington, Michael Bennett are all free agents. So if you lose Crawford too, you're really thin at that position. Now, my theory for Crawford, kind of did with Sean Lee, the base salary is $8 million. Can I have him cut that in half? That would bring him a $4 million base salary, and his cap would be $5.1 million. I think that's a really good idea. We'll see if that is a figure Crawford is interested in doing, and if the Cowboys are also interested in doing as well. Now, what do you guys want to do with Tyrone Crawford? Type K for keep him, C for cut, and type P for a pay cut for Tyrone Crawford. If he's going to take the money there, I like the idea a lot of having Crawford take a pay cut. So I'm typing in my P. I see Dime doing that. Lots of P's coming in. Not surprised by that. I think that's the best fit there for Tyrone Crawford and for the Dallas Cowboys. Greg Roman or Robert Saleh? I would prefer Greg Roman. Robert Saleh is a very funny name for me because we have a good Niner fan base here. He went from hot seat. Niners fans wanted him gone last year. And now he is the hot name. Frankly, I actually am for Matt Eberflus, the Colts DC, instead. As for Greg Roman, I like the job he's done. He has done a fantastic job with mobile quarterbacks. And if it is a tie between good offensive mind and good defensive mind, I'm going to take the offensive mind every single time. I think that's a better route there. I think Roman could be a candidate there if the Cowboys want to go that route and target coordinators beyond guys with some level of head coaching experience. All right, Eric Palomo, if I pronounced that wrong, I'm sorry. Is there a chance the Cowboys go after Dabo? I don't think so. I think Dabo leaves for Clemson for one job. That's Alabama. And I'm a big fan of what he's done in Clemson. He's been a great culture builder guy. I would have interest. I just don't think he wants to leave Clemson. So you can call, make him say no, but I don't think you're going to devote your man hours to a full court press, a guy that really doesn't want to leave his current job. But everyone in the comments, let me know. They got almost 1,000 live watching right now. Who do you want the Dallas Cowboys to hire? Let me know. Reminder, if you say Jimmy Johnson, you are a boomer. That is what you are. That is a boomer mentality. Don't even throw it in there. All right, LeBron IDK, what if Dak doesn't come back to the Cowboys? Who would be our quarterback? Would you rather get one out of free agency or the draft? I'd rather go draft just because I want a younger guy. The free agency crop isn't all that great. I don't really think that what if is going to come true. The Cowboys are going to at worst franchise tag Dak Prescott. I don't think it's something to really worry too much about there for now at least. All right, Alex Campa, what are the chances Mike Zimmer comes to Dallas? I would say it's decent. I don't know what the path is going to be for Mike Zimmer, but I do think he makes some sense as a target for the Dallas Cowboys. Look, he's only under contract through next season. My concern, number one, is that does Dallas want to trade for him? I don't think so. If he is available, I call and I say, hey, let's bring in Mike Zimmer. You got to find a good offensive mind, but I think the connection with the Cowboys makes him intriguing. Sergio Meza says Jimmy Johnson, and I'm not a boomer because I'm 13. Now, you got a boomer mindset, though. That's the problem there. look, I know it's going to keep coming up, so I'll answer it seriously. Jimmy Johnson does not make sense for the Dallas Cowboys. A, he's like 78 years old. B, he hasn't coached in 2 decades now. Not 1, 2. It's been 20 years. This century he hasn't coached. I have a rule that if you mention a head coach, he has to have coached in the past 10 years. That's all I'm asking for. It's not even that nice. And by the way, if we're being honest here, Jimmy Johnson with the salary cap, he wasn't the same guy. It hasn't coached since 1999. Stop it. You don't want Jimmy Johnson back, and he's not coming back. Find somebody else. Find a new slant. It's not Jimmy. It doesn't make sense for the Dallas Cowboys. All right, guys, subscribe to us here on YouTube. We are 17 subs away. Producer Dylan, update that number. Go ahead and check that number for us. I think it might be a little bit higher here. If we get to 44K during today's show, we'll do 2 full Q&A cuts for you guys. So we are 17 away at last check. Producer Dylan says what, 7 away? 7 away. So if it is your first time watching the show, subscribe. We do all kinds of great coverage here for you. We got draft, free agency coming up in the offseason. We keep you covered year-round. Nobody puts out more Cowboys videos here than we do. So we got the link in the comments for you. Scroll down. We got 1,000 people watching right now. I bet not all of you are subscribed. Give us a chance. I think you will like the show. All right, Alex, will Jason Witten leave the Dallas Cowboys? He might retire, but I think next year Jason Garrett in some capacity is involved with the Dallas Cowboys. Be it as an assistant coach, be it as a tight end. I think in some capacity, Jason Witten is a member of the Dallas Cowboys in some way or the other. Any chance at all that we get Kirby Smart or Manny Diaz? I mean, it depends on the role. I mean, you might be able to lure Kirby Smart as your head coach, but not as a defensive coordinator. Also, Manny Diaz is bad. So, no. And then Marvin Lewis, I honestly don't want anything to do with him. Good defensive mind, but let him hang out at Arizona State. If anything, watch out. I'll mention this later. Watch out for Jerome Henderson coming back to the Cowboys as a secondary or safeties coach. Romanov, chances, because he's Russian, for hiring Mike McCarthy. Yeah, it's possible. I think the Cowboys want to go with a younger option. He's saying all the right things about analytics and making changes, but I don't know if he's really going to be that type of guy. I would certainly interview him, see how it goes, but I wonder if the Cowboys, A, drag their feet too long, or B, just go in a different direction altogether. LeBron, who would you take at pick number 17, Tom? Look, stay tuned. I have a mock draft up on the channel. You can kind of see one of the guys there. That's Javon Kinlaw. Later this week, I'm thinking Sunday or Monday. Not quite sure when yet. Just depends on Garrett. Because, of course, it does. We'll have, maybe it's Tuesday or Wednesday or something, but we'll have some early first-round draft targets. I'm looking at a couple of positions. Safety, cornerback, defensive tackle are 3 of the top ones there. All right, X-Zoner. Do you think Cobb will be re-signed? I think it's possible. I also think it's a really great wide receiver crop, so you don't have to re-sign Cobb. You can find somebody later on in the draft. Alex, what if we release or don't re-sign Amari Cooper and draft Laviska Shenault or T. Higgins? Well, you got worse at receiver. That's one element. That your receiving core is now worse. You're younger, cheaper. You can spend that money elsewhere. But if you lose Cooper, you are taking a step back at the wide receiver room. Both those guys have their strengths and weaknesses. I would maybe prefer T. Higgins. I think he's a better outside guy, but Shenault is so movable and so dynamic as almost a receiver, running back hybrid, but mostly a receiver. Jake's Reptiles, how about Grant Delpit in the first round? Jake, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and do that. And pay attention Sunday morning. You might just have a Cowboys video that comes out discussing Grant Delpit. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.